Do you ever get done eating a good sub sandwich and just feel so guilty because you know you just took a bunch of carbs that you really shouldn't have had? You ever feel that way? Well, fear no more, because today I'm going to teach you how to make low-carb sub sandwich bread. And not just plain old sub sandwich bread, but Italian herb and cheese sub sandwich bread. So the next time you eat a sub, you don't have to feel guilty anymore. So roll up those sleeves and let's get cooking. To start, preheat your oven to 100 degrees and line 2 large baking sheets with parchment paper. In a medium mixing bowl, combine 1 cup almond flour, 1 cup garbanzo flour, and 1 cup vital wheat gluten. Add 1 teaspoon garlic powder, 1 teaspoon salt, 2 tablespoons instant yeast. Make sure it's instant yeast. There's a difference between instant and dry active and how it reacts, so make sure it is instant yeast. And 1 tablespoon dry oregano. Whisk the ingredients together until all ingredients are fully combined. Add ½ cup of fresh grated Parmesan, not the canned, fresh off the block. Whisk until the cheese is evenly distributed, then set the bowl aside. In a large mixer bowl, add 1 cup warm water and make sure it's warm to your touch, not hot, not cold, just warm. 3 tablespoons olive oil or oil of your choice, 3 tablespoons honey, and 1 large room temperature egg. Make sure it is room temperature. The temperature of your dough is very important when it comes to yeast bread. If it's too hot, it won't rise right. If it's too cold, it won't rise right. So make sure everything is room temperature. Slowly add the bowl of dry ingredients to your wet ingredients. Beat on low 15 seconds or until all the ingredients are combined and no dry ingredients is left in your bowl. Scrape down the paddle and sides if needed. Change out to your dough hook attachment for your standing mixer and mix on high for 3 minutes. Scrape down the sides of the bowl and push the dough to the center of the bowl. And mix on high for 3 more minutes. If you don't have a dough hook attachment or a standing mixer, you'll need to knead the dough by hand for about 7 to 10 minutes or until it's very stretchy. Divide the dough into 4 equal portions and place 2 portions at a time on your prepared baking sheets. You're going to basically have a top and bottom on one baking sheet and a top and bottom on another baking sheet. This yields about 2 subs. Spray your hands with oil and roll each portion into a sub shape. The tighter you roll it, the more round the sub will be. So basically, if you want a more round or domed sub, then you're going to need to roll it tighter, whereas if you don't mind a more flatter top, like a hoagie roll, then you don't have to roll it quite as tight. So it depends on how much of a dome you want on your sub sandwich. So the higher the dome you want, the tighter you need to roll it. Once they're shaped, cover with sprayed plastic wrap. Make sure you spray it so it doesn't stick. And let it rise in your 100-degree oven for 20 minutes. Once it's risen, remove it from the oven. Now sometimes the dough spreads and it kind of looks like 2 big blobs on your baking sheet. It's okay, that's what it does when it rises sometimes. All you need to do is reshape the dough into the sub shape that you want. So if you want a 6-inch sub, then shape it into 6 inches. If you want a 10-inch sub, then shape it into 10 inches. And again, remember, the tighter you roll it, the higher dome you're going to have. So cover it back up and preheat your oven to 400 degrees. Make sure you keep them covered while it's preheating. Most ovens take a couple minutes to get up to 400 degrees. You want to make sure you keep your dough covered so it doesn't dry out in those few minutes, because it does dry out quickly. So make sure you keep it covered. Once your oven's preheated, uncover your dough. You want to make sure it's uncovered. Don't bake it with that plastic wrap. It'll melt all to it. And bake at 400 degrees for 12 to 15 minutes. So if you just want it lightly golden, then just bake it for 12 minutes. If you'd like a little more of a toasty top, then bake it for 15 minutes. When it's done baking, remove it from the oven and let it rest on the baking sheet for 3 minutes. Then transfer it to a wire rack to cool. Depending on what type of sandwich I want, that depends on how long I'm going to bake the bread. If I just want a simple sub with some deli sliced meats and some veggies, a little bit of sauce, then I'm just going to go for 12 minutes and leave it just light golden on top. But if I want a warm sandwich, such as a meatball sandwich or a French dip or something a little more hearty, then I go for the more toasty top. That way it has a firmer, more sturdy hold, but it's entirely up to you as far as how toasty you want your top. So that's just my preference. So once it's cooled, you're going to carefully trim the dark bottom off of each bun. You want to go very slowly and very carefully, because you only want that dark brown, crusty, thin layer trimmed off so that you'll have a smooth, soft center in between your sub buns. So go very carefully, because you don't want to trim off half your bun. Now you should have smooth centers in both of your subs. Now, if you're not going to eat them right away, then you can store them in an airtight container in your pantry or on your countertop for up to 2 days. If you're not going to use it within 2 days, you could put them in the freezer until you're ready to use them. But don't keep them in the freezer for longer than 3 months. I mean, you could, but I wouldn't advise it. So if you do freeze them, when you're ready to use them, thaw them out on your countertop. Don't try to rush the process and put them in your microwave or put them in your stove to defrost them. They can get chewy that way. And they only take a couple minutes to thaw out on your countertop. So when you're ready to use them, place them on your countertop for maybe up to 5 minutes, not even that usually. And they should be completely thawed. If you want to warm them after they're completely thawed, then you can just pop them in the microwave for 10 to 15 seconds just to give them a little warmth. But don't do that until they are fully thawed out. And now you have it, 2 delicious low-carb sub buns. And that's our recipe of the day. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, hit that like and subscribe button. Leave me a comment if you'd like. Let me know if there's any other recipes that you'd like to learn how to make without using white flour and white sugar. And remember to stay tuned every Friday for new videos and new recipes and new tips and tricks on how to make your low-carb living easier. And as always, until we see you again, keep cooking.